Hey everybody, I'm at a remote location today at the cabin in Wisconsin. Just wanted to get a match out for you here today. So this is a practice match. We have myself and Jordan, who is a 4-5 player, playing against Nick and Ben, who we've seen quite a bit on the channel. So hope you enjoy this practice match, and I will see you at the end. Hey everybody, welcome into the match here. We have Jordan serving, and I'm at the net in white, playing against Ben and Nick. So Nick is the one returning on the do side, and Ben is there in red. All right, so again, no specific purpose for this match, just continued practice. Our team did make it to the sectionals for USTA Northern, so this is kind of prepping for that. This was a few weeks ago, so not necessarily too close to leading up to the sectionals, but pretty close. So we have Jordan, who had previously been on our 4-0 team, but he got bumped up to 4-5 back in December, and then the rest of us are 4-0. So slight advantage on my end having the young, super athletic 4-5 player. But again, Ben and Nick play quite a bit together and are a pretty formidable team. Previously, both of them had been bumped up to 4-5, and I know at least Nick had played at the 4-5 level. I know Ben, I think, never played a match at that level for a USTA sanctioned match. All right, so on this day, I was just looking to play as consistent and solid as I could. I really like to make sure I'm on when I'm playing anybody in practice, but especially Ben and Nick. They are a team that I historically don't do that well against. The only time I've ever actually beat them is also with Jordan on my team. So this is really the only matchup that I've had any success against them. I've been able to take sets off them in the past, but never taken down the full match. So I do what I can to at least make it as competitive as possible. As you can see here, I'm playing on the ad court, which is my typical normal place I like to play. That's also the side that Jordan likes to play on also. So I know on this day Jordan wanted to focus a little bit on practicing his forehand a little bit, so we gave him the do side return on this day. So we can see starting off, Ben and Nick got the break of Jordan, which I had a few errors at the net. So typically what I've been noticing is right away early on in matches, I'm not fully calibrated, especially at the net. I'm more apt to hit a missed volley early on in the match, which I really need to correct. I just want to be consistent throughout the whole time, but I don't know what it is, but right away at the beginning I do miss more, I would say, than I do during the middle or towards the end of the match. So just something I need to work on amongst a lot of other things. So again, Nick's serve is a big problem. He is a very prolific server, but he will apt to double fault, as we see there. And I know we have fundamentally different thoughts about serving. I'm very much, I try to, I don't want to have just a super weak second serve, but I want a very consistent one. But I know Nick really goes after his second serve, which, has served, no pun intended, served him well for the most part. But I know he definitely double faults more frequently than I do, and some of the other, I'd say, people on his team. But also Ben has been having some issues with double faulting, but he's really working on his serve, and I think we'll see in this video kind of some work on his new service motion and things like that. So it's been helping out his game quite a bit. So, all right, and we get the break of Nick, it looks like, and we are at 1-all. I don't know if that's accurate actually. Now there was some wonky scoring aspect of it, so Nick very well may have actually held there, and I worry that the scoring may be a little off. I wasn't fully paying attention to the points and scores like that, so I do apologize, but I know I had a little bit of wonkiness, but I think early on there was something off on the score, so I know ultimately it will work itself out, but I do apologize if there was something off there on the score. All right, so we see Ben serving, and we can see kind of his new service motion that he's working on that I think has been adding a little bit more punch to his serve and a little bit more accuracy too. So you know, this is early on. I think he just started to adopt it at this point in him kind of discovering what he wanted to do with his serve. So it's good to see here kind of the beginnings of where it's at and how he's been working on it since then. So hopefully we'll get him on recording here again soon, just to kind of see how that's progressed and where that goes. All right, put in a good return there, and Ben wasn't so bad with a certain volley. That's one thing about Ben's service game. He will serve and volley, but it's not consistent. So I know he likes to be there in attack, but I guess I would have to ask him, or maybe you can comment below on the thought around like when he serves and volleys and when he decides not to, and kind of what is the impetus for deciding to do that or not. Or I know he likes to say in some matches like, "Oh, remind me to get to the net." So maybe he's just truly forgetting that that's kind of a tactic he likes to use. So, but it always makes it trouble for me returning against him, because I never know on any given service game if he's going to serve and volley or not. It shouldn't fully change the way I return, but I like to attack my returns, and it's kind of nice to know more consistency-wise, is he going to be at the net or is he going to be back, and what that's going to look like. So I always have trouble against his serve, just knowing what exactly I'm going to see after that. But all right, so let's let some of these points play out here, and I will chime in as well. Alright, I was able to hold my serve pretty handily there at the end, and we're up 5-2. So this is a much better result than I was expecting at this point in the match. Typically, even playing with Jordan, it's usually pretty close, so I've been noticing on a few matches, the first set I've been able to kind of sneak some more games than usual against Ben and Nick. So I don't know if that's kind of just something new going on with them, or just kind of getting lucky these last couple times I've played against them. But yeah, I do find that you do need to strike while the iron is hot, as it were. Do what you can to amass as many points as possible as early as you can, just to hopefully get them maybe a little flustered and definitely take advantage of the fact that they can easily come back into the match. So that's where we're at there. That's a ball Nick probably should have cut off and taken out, but I know Nick is less comfortable at the net than Ben is. That's one thing that I know they're trying to work on a little bit, is kind of Nick's comfort at the net and just being more aggressive, because they're both really big dudes that should be able to have quite a big overlap on the court and be able to basically take over the net if they're both there. Alright, so Ben gets broke there, and we take that first set 6-2, so definitely a really good result for us in the first set. And just looking to, as I always said on the channel, it's really easy to let off a little bit after you win the first set. You kind of get more relaxed, especially by a pretty big margin that you just did. So the key is just to keep up the pressure and just play like you're down or play like you're in a big battle. Don't just assume the match is going to go the same way as the first set. Because, it's very easy, especially at the 4-0, 3-5, 4-5 level, to see wild swings between sets. It's not unheard of for that to happen. So I'm very much just on guard and ready for a dogfight here in the second set, knowing that they're not just going to give it to us. I think I got a miss-hit winner there, but that's you kind of make your own luck when you're aggressive at the net. So granted, that ball was a pretty easy one and it should have been more. But alright, so we come away with the hold there to start off the first set. So that's where we want to be, just making sure we're at least taking care of our serve. That's the number one thing in all tennis that you can do is take control of your serve, do what you can to make sure you're at least getting that, because once you get into a break fest or if you're consistently getting broke, I don't know about other players, but it gets in my head quite a bit, and very much kind of just kind of get that lack of focus and more desperation of like, I really need to hold, versus just focusing on varying up your serve speeds, serve locations, and things like that, and keeping your opponent off kilter, versus just desperately just trying to, I race through my service games. Whenever I'm kind of in trouble or I feel like things aren't going my way, I just go faster, which is not the best thing to do, but it's what I tend to do. Alright, we get the break there and up 2-0, so definitely I think my serve is getting much better, I think, overall. Especially since the wrist seems to be getting much better now. I can add more of the snap of the wrist on the serve, and I feel like I'm adding a little bit more speed to it. It's not a ton of speed, but just enough to add a little bit more pace and a little bit more spin to it, that I think it makes it a little bit more prolific serve. Again, I typically am rocking a pretty high first serve percentage, which I think just helps a lot more. Just the returner can't feel like they can just completely unload unless they're just got a beat on my serve, which again, it's not a world beater of a serve whatsoever, but I'd like to think it isn't a incredibly attackable in regards to they're going to just crush the net up. It's at least going to keep us in the point and give us a good chance to maybe apply the pressure by getting to the net and putting more focus on that. Again, my serve is more, I'm trying to set it up so my net player can take advantage of things and put things away, just like I just did with Jordan there, but unfortunately he airmails a volley, which I can't say too much. I've shanked my share of volleys in this match. But it would have been good to get the hold there, but we still are up 2-1, so we're on serve now. Ben serving. And there he didn't serve in volley, so again, I will have to take a look throughout this service game. Does he serve in volley occasionally, or is it just he's staying back? I don't know. See, now against me, he's serving volley. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to, again, fully read on what exactly is happening. He didn't serve in volley. So like I said, it's always kind of a struggle for me on really knowing what exactly I'm coming against. All right, again, let's watch some more of this match and get into it later in the second set. Okay, so we had a 4-1 advantage. Now with Nick holding, it's 4-2 with me serving. So again, we had a good opportunity to really kind of take it to them very hard in the second set, but Nick again has a very difficult serve to handle, so not too surprised that he got the hold there. So now I'm just hoping to just, again, hold on to my serve. Ben puts in a great return out very deep, and then a shot right to my feet, so very difficult to deal with there. And yeah, now I'm pressing a little bit, not hitting as many first serves as I would prefer to see. Nick likes that lob, but he just missed it there. Which I don't mind that lob because it goes to my backhand, and I do pretty well with that. So Jordan, yeah, being the super aggressive guy he is, cuts off that ball and puts it away like you like to see, and then get the backhand error. So 5-2. So now Ben is serving to stay in the match. So again, it would be an incredibly good result if we could win this 6-2, 6-2. So yeah, there Ben comes in, puts away the ball. It's good to come at me hard. I do struggle a little bit with some pace, especially when I'm that close to the net. So good shot on his part. Yep, now we're going to see a second serve from Ben. There he serves and volleys it in. Gets a good volley at it, then Nick takes the ball and puts it away. So yeah, that was good 1-2 punch by them. Ben had a good volley at the net, and then Nick gets a very good put away there. I airmail a backhand to bring it to 5-3. So, all right, let's see if Jordan can serve this one out and get us to the win. All right, all of a sudden it's 5-all. What happened to that 5-2 that we had? So yeah, unfortunately, Jordan got broke there, and we just couldn't break through against their serve. So now it's, unfortunately, again, I think my serve situation is weaker, but It's kind of hard to say that too because Jordan is incredibly good at the net, as we just saw there. So definitely don't feel bad about me serving with Jordan at the net with, with how high percentage I can get my serve in. So not too worried about this situation. So feel pretty good about that. Up 40-15 just this quickly. Got to put in a second serve. Jordan gets a nice slap put away. And now we're up 6-5. So Ben serving to get to the tiebreak, and Jordan just laces forehand. You don't see him do that very frequently, but it's always a pretty sight. He gets a good look at that. He's able to not overswing on it because he typically can tend to overhit his forehands. So it's good to see him just laying in a nice, even-keeled forehand. Alright, so Nick has the 30-15 advantage getting into my forehand, which is a good way to serve, and for some reason I was chopping him on this day. I wasn't confident going with the top spin, so yeah, you can kind of see that. But, alright, Ben gets the hold, and now tie break for the set. So this is tie break to 7, win by 2. Alright, so let's see if we can take this one down, or if it's going to go to a 10-point tie break for it. All right, and we can see Jordan and I were able to take it down in 2 sets. So took a tie break to get there, but I thought we played pretty well. Again, we have a slight advantage. We're a 4-0 and a 4-5 team against 2 4-0s, but Ben and Nick are no slouches. They are a very good team together. So chalk it up as a pretty good win for us, especially because Jordan and I don't play a lot together, but Jordan is that player that I always refer to. I am an old, slower, fat version of. We both have similar-ish games. We both like to be aggressive at the net. Both have prefer our backhand shot. So we typically play a different style, except he's younger, more athletic, and just overall better than I am. But no, it was a fun match to play, and I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you could please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the match. Let me know what else you would like to see on the channel. Would like to try to add a little bit more if I can. Just looking for any suggestions, recommendations for what you would like to see here. All right, well then, thank you again. And as always, just get out there and play tennis.